I'd like to call the special meeting to order. Would you all please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've got 5 agenda items for the special meeting. Would you call the roll, Hoggy?
Ellis. Farnham.
Here.
Lawton.
Here.
Luddington.
Here.
Patrick. Here. Brunner.
Here.
And Voigt.
Here. First off, we'd like to ask for public comment. Are there any public comments? We'd ask you to identify yourself and try to maintain 5 minutes for your remarks. Hearing none, we'll go ahead with the highway resolutions, which we have 3. Who's going to do that, Aaron?
Sure, could you tell me number 1, please?
Number 1 is resolution authorizing county board chairman to sign supplemental. Number 2, preliminary engineering service agreement with Cummins Engineering.
Okay, so the Lower Terre Haute Road project that's on FY22, we found out in the last, say, 3 weeks or so that the project has got project creep, and it's gotten up to like $4.3 million. And the district has pushed back and said, we don't have that much money for FY22. You're going to have to move it to FY23 because of our federal allotments. And we said that's fine. However, we're finding that a lot of the cost increase is in the safety related items. So we have until a week from this coming Friday to put in an FY23 safety application. So I'm asking the county board to spend another not to exceed $17,000 on Cummins, who's done both of our HSIP applications to date, to put in an FY23 application asking for between $500 and $750 more thousand for that project. So I'm asking the board to take a chance and spend $17,000 and seek more than $500,000.
I'm kind of seeing now, what's the project again?
It's the Lower Terre Haute Road. You've got, you go from Elbridge, down there at Elbridge, Farrell Street, and you come all the way up to Farnham's Christmas Tree Road with the complete resurfacing and shoulders. And then from Farnham's Christmas Tree Road all the way up to about the Walmart curve, that last curve, you're just going to put targeted paved shoulders in.
Mm-hmm.
And that project started out as just a targeted paved shoulders, and it's grown and grown and grown to where it's now, you know, north of $4 million. And the district's saying, well, that's a lot of your federal STR money. So rather than, and you're going to have to push it back a year, so rather than, and we have to sign something that said we pick up everything over a 5-year allotment, and we're like, we don't want to do that. So the project's grown. There's contingency in there. I want everybody to hear that the unit prices are anticipated to, I don't want to say skyrocket, but at a minimum 10-15% more than what you anticipated. You got to remember, we went after this money in 18 when things were stable, and now that it's 21 with a project that was supposed to go in 22, there's a lot of anxiety that prices are going to be through the roof, and we want to do everything in our power collectively to ask for more money to cover the contingency, 1, and 2, to make sure that we're positioned not to spend federal STR money on something that's safety related. So, in a nutshell, I'm talking too much. I'm asking to put in another application, a third, for the lower T, that's due a week from Friday, asking for more than $500,000 of safety money that we match 10%. We have to rush it. That's why we're doing it on a special meeting. She's got, less than 2 weeks to get this application in. We're already talking to central office. They're anticipating this ask. So what this board action is to give Cummins a not to exceed $17,000 amendment to a contract she's already in to take this the rest of the way, with the first action item to be hurry up and put together an application for next Friday. Was that kind of clear?
Mm-hmm.
So this, and then the next one's going to be like your guys' support of the job.
You're not doing it yourself, right?
I mean, I'm not building it with our people, but it's the county's job, and we will do the construction engineering and watch the project. It'll be an Edgar County job on the Lower Terre Haute Road. Again, the price since 18 has just gone up, 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 up. And when we finally got PS&E plans, specs, and estimate together, it was a lot more than anyone had anticipated, and kind of threw a wrench in things.
So are you building in what you're asking for, what you anticipated?
That is correct. We are adding contingency this time. Not only are we gonna add the $500,000 or so of dollars that was not anticipated 3 years ago at the ask, but we're also gonna add 10 to 15% to the ask, so that when we get to 23, that we're not surprised again. That is correct.
Okay.
And hope that we'll get awarded it. Yes.
So why is it ink, you said it's got so much bigger, is it because of the prices or because you added things?
Well, that could be very long-winded. I'll try to make it short. It's a very long-winded answer. When we first asked for this back in 2017 or 18, we wanted to do just shoulders and curves. So we went to a consultant and said, we want to put 3-foot shoulders on the insides of the curves 4 years ago. And they did a roadside safety audit, and they came back and said, well, you need curves on both sides, top and bottom. So they put curves on both sides, and we asked for money. And then a year later, like, well, why don't we just connect the curves? Because there's so many curves, there's just little tangents in between, so let's just do it all.
Okay.
And then what's worse is we started with 1 1/4 inch resurfacing, a pavement preservation resurfacing for the main line. And since application, this has changed since application, they said you're not going to be able to use 1 1/4 inch resurfacing anymore. You're going to have to do a 2-lift resurfacing. So we said, well, we'll do a 3/4 and a 1 1/2. That was fine. 6 months later, you can't do that. You have to do 1 1/4 inch and 1 1/2 inch. So the thickness of the asphalt continues to increase, and the asphalt's not getting any cheaper. And it's a 9-mile project, so you add, from 1 1/4 inch to 2 3/4. So if you add 1 1/2 inch asphalt for 9 miles, the price just goes through the roof. So essentially, that's where we're at. We've been through federal coordination meetings, and the feds want a lot more than I don't want to say willing. The feds are asking us to do more than we anticipated doing. And remember, during our ask, we said we want to do this and this. And the response from DOT was, well, we'll pay for this, but you need to find more cost-effective ways to do this. We're not going to pay the other $1 million or so that you want to do this. So this part of your application is approved. This part of your application is rejected. Then we get to coordination 2 years later, and they're saying, well, we need to do this too. And we're like, well, we asked to do that, but you guys didn't award the money.
All right.
That's kind of the pickle we're in.
Okay, I got it.
Okay?
Thank you.
And it's fine, take whatever time.
Oh, yeah, please,
These are
ask
big
questions.
decisions,
It's a big project,
so.
big financial project, big financial commitment on our part. And my recommendation, my very strong recommendation, is you don't bat an eye and you spend $17,000 to seek another $500 to $750. You don't even bat an eye. And then you'll still have an opportunity later to make a decision. If things are still out of control, you guys always have the authority to tell me to stop.
Yeah.
In this $4 million plus project, how
Yes.
much is it roughly costing us?
Well, remember, we got rebuild, but it's 10% for the safety, it's 90-10 on safety, and it's 80-20 on the STR. So if you want to make it simple, half of it's 90-10 and half of it's 80-20. So $2 million, you pay 20%, and $2 million, you pay 10%. So what is that?
300.
$300,000 that you're going to spend. But it's more than that, so I don't know why I'm guessing so low. We have $725 coming in rebuild, and we've got a lot of the rebuild pointed there.
400, I'm wrong, 400 and
Okay.
200.
Most,
600.
it's all rebuild, Carl, if that makes you feel better. We have RBI payments. That's the other thing that I could get long-winded on. We can't anticipate. The district won't let us anticipate, so we've got 3 of the 6 rebuild payments in our pocket. The other 3 are promised. So when you go to put an agreement together, they won't allow you to say, well, there's 3 more rebuilds coming, so we want to put that on the agreement. So really, the longer you wait, the better served you are. Please, Jeff, go ahead. The longer you wait, the better served you are financially. Does that make sense? Instead of saying I'm anticipating rebuild coming, it'll be here. Instead of saying I'm anticipating state match coming, it'll be here.
Do you get COVID money?
That's a brand new story.
I don't want long-winded.
Well,
We have nothing at this point.
Yes, the one.
Do we?
we got a circular Friday that said that
Right.
some of the COVID money that the state has been sitting on for a year, they're gonna administer through the federal formula to the counties.
But we
Which
don't
is a-
know what it
Could it
is.
be used for that project?
It can.
Okay.
It's a good
I know
question.
Terre their COVID money, they're giving stipends to all the teachers and so forth in the
Well,
school
let's,
district.
you gotta separate this. There's a multiple
Yeah,
facet of
there's-
COVID money.
I was just trying to figure out how to let you know all the funds here in a little while to keep it all straight
It's
Yeah.
on what, I mean,
I understand, yeah. I understand.
no, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the way it is right now.
This was news Friday. I found out Friday that the county of Edgar will be allotted another $130,000 of state transportation related COVID money allotted through the federal formula, which means we have to use it on a federal project. Jeff, you probably heard this is brand new. This was Friday afternoon that I got this circular.
Okay, I got something, but
You
from the
may have.
United Counties
It
on
could
it.
be the same thing.
Yeah, but it didn't give us a dollar amount.
Okay. And yes, Dan, that, according to the circular that I read Friday, this can be used on the Lower Terre Haute Road project.
That's wonderful.
But I don't wanna get ahead of IDOT and get myself in trouble and say something
Yeah,
that,
okay.
Well, and we don't know what it's ultimately, who knows?
correct.
Good.
So my recommendation is the county board, without hesitation, allow the county to spend up to $17,000 more to pursue additional HSIP monies with this cycle. You'll find out about July whether or not you got selected.
Do I have a motion to approve this resolution, please? Andy moves, Carl seconds. Would you call the roll, please?
Farnum.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
And Bruner.
Yes.
Unanimously carries, thank you. Next item is resolution of support for Edgar County 23 Highway Safety Improvement Program application. Take her away, Mr. Anderson.
Andy, yeah, that's where you guys are gonna sit together collectively and decide whether or not you wanna put in for more money. So your resolution will be attached to our application that says we fully approve this application to see 500 to 750 of HSIP monies in FY '23.
And it does nothing to ruin our flexibility.
It does nothing, well, it does nothing to ruin your flex, you have more flexibility by asking than
That's
you would
what I
have.
said it wrong.
That's correct.
what- Yes. Resolution, Andy? Dan? Seconds? Any further discussion? Augie?
Farnum.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Okay, next, the county engineer is gonna talk to you about purchase equipment with financing from Prospect Bank and sign any financial documents required.
We've been talking with the board for months about what we're anticipating is gonna happen with interest rates and inflation and availability of iron. And we mentioned several months ago that we were looking for, we all remember that you get more tons per gallon with a semi than you do with tandems. And that when we use tandems to haul for townships, that we wear our tandems out. And the board has been favorable in us pursuing such. I tasked Dirk and Jimmy with finding a truck and a trailer several months ago, and they haven't had any luck. And in the last week or two, I'll allow Dirk, I would appreciate you asking questions. In the last week or two, they have found one of each unit. They found a tractor sitting on the ground, and they found a trailer sitting on the ground. One's on the East Coast and one's down at the Gulf. We want to grab both of those. There's been a lot of information shared with dealers and manufacturers, et cetera. If you care to learn more, that's the reason I brought Dirk in here. My strong recommendation to the county board is to get into a lease as quickly as you can and to get both of these pieces of equipment that are one's on the ground and one's coming in May. Both of them and the folks we've talked to nationwide are saying that you are probably a year out, if not more, on getting this stuff. That orders have doubled. I assume everyone reads the paper and has got a feel for the fact that okay, well, by all appearances, interest rate, inflation is going to occur. This is just my guess. I'm seeing it, but I'm not an economist, I'm just telling you our gut instinct. That there will be inflation, that there is a shortage of goods, that prices will increase, and that if you're, that if you want to, if you have a need in the next year or two, you probably ought to be jumping on it now. That's why Dirk and Jimmy's been looking all over the country for this stuff, and you guys have been informed over, I know it's been at least 3 months, I told you we've been doing this. Both of these units are going to be gone if you don't grab them. Now, I would appreciate any questions to Dirk to support the amount of work that's gone into this.
What's the cost?
The semi is probably 131, and I think the trailer's around 50. The trailer will pay for, the semi you'll lease at Prospect, and we're hoping it's still 2 5/8. We want to get into the lease at 2 5/8. We think that, we feel very confident that those numbers are going to go up soon. Board, go ahead. And allow me to take this opportunity to tell the board that a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, we went to Alabama, no, we went to Georgia and picked up a semi for half that, with 7,000 miles on it. So I want to pat ourselves on the back for grabbing that one a year and a half ago. And now we're going to pay full freight. But just know, trust that Jimmy and Dirk are doing their diligence, and that you just can't find units on the ground anywhere. There's not an East trailer in the country.
It's kinda like squad cars. I mean, they're just old.
Well, they're having trouble getting parts for these things.
That's another thing. Yeah, our tandem, the tandem you guys bought,
Electronic stuff in the back,
Yeah, they're putting together some stuff without,
without,
yeah, they're bringing them without their dashes and everything else. But the tandem you bought
Like 2 before used to be $10.
9 months ago, was it? We still don't have,
Piece of plywood, Jesus.
because it's missing snowplow lights,
Yeah, he's waiting on lights.
light bulbs,
And light bar.
something to do with one of the pumps or cylinders. Russ, you wanna talk on it? Are you having trouble getting parts?
Oh, yeah, it's the same parts issue.
So if you can find something moving, and again, this all boils down to, you know, how ahead of the game this board wants to stay. We have a lot of, we think we have a pretty good program for the townships that we're gonna have troubles meeting anyway.
we've got it on hold, don't we?
Yes.
Did you guys take
Yeah.
care of that?
Yes.
I authorized till it got to the board to put some money down, refundable, so once you guys make the decision, it's still there.
Yes,
Okay.
they're waiting on our phone calls. These guys are wanting to sell these. Yeah, I don't wanna say too much, but
Yeah.
I would act if I was the board.
Questions? Motion? Dan? Russ? Further comments? Augie?
Farnham.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
Patrick.
yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, can you hang around for a few minutes,
Yeah.
or at least come back in at 9:30 for a few minutes?
Yeah,
If you need to go do some stuff, go ahead. Okay?
Got a call, John.
What the hell has he got to do?
what?
You can't be here much Monday morning.
Okay, approved contract with the County of Edgar and Sheriff, with the FOP Labor Council, regarding jail and dispatch, jailers and dispatchers beginning December 1st, 20, and ending, November 30th, 2023. You guys have been sent that, I guess a week or so ago, maybe it's 2 weeks, I'm sorry. At any rate, it does not include the memorandum of understanding. Everything else that we've told you about is in there. We're pleased that it happened the way it did. I've had several comments, I don't know about you, Carl, but I've had several comments from union members that they appreciated how it went. Nobody got everything they wanted, but they felt pretty good about it. The one thing the memorandum is gonna handle is we're gonna decide more clearly define whether we're gonna go with a circle around this, Edgar County on where we can hire from, or whether we're gonna keep it by county. And we can go into Indiana to hire jailers and dispatchers. We cannot go do that in Indiana for our police officers, or sheriff's deputies. So that's gonna be worked out, and will give us more flexibility on who we can hire in a bigger resource pool on where we can draw from. So,
You don't have the me clause in.
well, it is there, but it's worded that it's, for example, if the feds, yeah, it doesn't affect us like it did. It's gotta, if we go ahead and pass something for everybody, then that applies.
Okay.
If Augie decides to, or not picking on Augie, but anybody else decides that they're gonna do something, or if the feds say you've gotta raise your minimum wage, none of that's affected by it, okay? And then also, one of the big things at the end was being able to, they can bid shifts. And under the new one, they can bid shifts, but like we have to still adhere to the rules and regulations from DOC, Department of Corrections. And say we need a woman jailer on a certain shift, then that lets us, the sheriff, have the ability to make sure that we're still meeting state law, okay? Which wasn't in there before. So, motion to approve this, Carl moves, and Andy seconds. We're gonna need a roll call on this.
Farnham.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Luddington.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
Okay, that does carry, thank you. Okay, next is resolution calling for the Governor and General Assembly to protect, control of zoning and land use, which directly affects, the ability of this county or any county in Illinois to control and have local input into either a, wind farm or a solar farm. And right now, they're working on bills that are moving through that would materially change what we could do at the local level to protect both ways. People that wanna put in farms and the people that don't participate and have a lot of issues with it. So we're just adding our support with a resolution on that. That was sent to you, what, Saturday or Friday? That you got that redone? I saw it.
Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, sometime, Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
So, does anybody have any problems with that or have any questions?
There are a lot of other counties doing the same.
Well, we don't know.
You don't know
Okay,
yet.
yeah. Yes,
I'm sorry, did you tell them that template resolution came from UCCI?
no, I did not. It did,
Okay.
it came, and they judged it as being a fight, well, not fight, what word did they say? Do not approve of, takes local control away from
Yeah.
local citizens. Okay? Yes,
Did we change the setback in ours? We talked about 3,200 feet.
yeah, it's now, the new, what you got sent was the 3250 went down to 26.
What about shadow flicker?
It's in there also, all that stuff
Zero,
is.
or was it zero? Some of them have zero.
Well,
shadow
it makes them accommodate for it, whether it be planting, whether it
Or
be
shutting off.
looking at, yes, shutting off at certain times of the day. I mean, it's very brief.
flicker. Okay.
All of that
That's
stuff happens, but if it's happening to you and you've gotta deal with it for 4 days, that's a problem. Okay? So they will take a look at each one. They can tell from the computer, they can come up with a diagram in the computer on how each house is affected,
Okay.
if that becomes
Yeah.
an issue.
Terre Haute had a problem with they were talking about their wind farm specs and so forth.
Well, for example, on lights, and we'll get into this more, I was gonna talk to you during our study session, but we'll get into this more. For example, the lights, you can't totally eliminate them, but they can be dimmed. And then once aircraft come into the area, then they light up, and then they leave, and then it goes back to a lesser level. It's not flashing, for example.
Okay.
So, that's all in there, and that technology exists. Questions? Any, okay, is there a motion to approve, supporting this, call for the governor and general assembly to protect local control. Okay, Andy first, Dan second. All those, I'm sorry, would you call the roll, please?
Farnum,
Yes.
Lawton,
Yes.
Luddington,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
and Bruner.
Yes.
Okay, that's all that's on our agenda. We'll about 5 minutes, we'll take a break and we'll start our study session in about 5 minutes. And don't forget, we're going over the HRC over at the hospital campus in a little later, okay, after that. They're expecting us about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Okay? Motion to adjourn? Andy seconds, Andy makes the motion, Russ seconds. I'll get it. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. We're adjourned. We'll come back into session about 5
Will
minutes.
this be a fifth one, or you get rid of a?
Well, the two we have aren't worth anything. We have two that are 350,000. We thought about getting rid of them, but it's kind of my dad's mentality, is why give it away, just run it till it quits.
Well, our semi's got 450,000.
That's different property.
We're
Yeah.
spending money on them, but
Where
we
you putting the
think
concrete
it's not
now?
that bad a deal.
Yeah,
we got
still working at
350.
GSI?
Any car we can use them, we can use them.
Someplace else they were going north.
You know, we're looking at the whole next to the township this year, we're not making much
We've
of
passed
it.
that
It's gonna
resolution.
practically be for some for it.
There's one on Rollaway,
They must have
Not
done it.
taking
29, 36, 2002,
That took place.
I don't know.
You say you don't make cold mix anymore?
Just our own. Yeah, we're not making for townships, 'cause
Some people are here and they're not, though.
I know. Talking about me.
No, why would you think that?
But yeah, Nico's making it.
Oh, think about that a minute.
Are we ready, Augie? You just,
Whoops. We went to
You paper towel or something?
I'm good.
It cleans. Cleans up nicely, actually. Morning.
Good morning.
It's countertop.
You just did that, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Camera's running, so bottom line.
okay.
So whenever
we've
you're
already
ready.
said the pledge, so let's go on to our study session. What time are we? 10:30, 11 o'clock? Is that right? Okay. I wanted to kind of go over the grant situation, and then that way, once we do that, and some meetings, then Aaron can leave, okay?
Okay.
Give me the lead, you said?
What?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, no. We're gonna go over grants and some other things, and that way, once we've done that, you can take off and do
Just
your
let me know
thing.
when you're ready.
I'm going to.
You gonna leave? How about that?
I wanted to remind you, we still have a $250,000 grant that's winding through, what agency is it?
DCEO, Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity.
For the portico roofs at the courthouse and moving some infrastructure or some units
HVAC,
so
HVAC
that
for second
they
floor.
can be more easily maintained. Last month, Mary Miller, our representative, let us know that she was willing to go to bat for us for some grants. So she invited us to put down several projects, one project, whatever we would like, and that she would try to support us to get money for those projects. And the three projects we chose was the courthouse roof, etc., the elevator system, and 3 new squad cars. Those are separate grants. So we got, a lot, a medium, and then a small amount. I think the squad cars were what, 150, and then the others were some,
1.6, 3.2, yeah.
that kind of stuff. So we have those in. Now, that doesn't mean anything's gonna happen immediately, but I wanted to let you know that we had those in. The COVID American Rescue Plan grants are gonna be coming to us supposedly by the 11th of May. We'll get half of it by the 11th of May, and then next year in February or March. And some of the ideas floating around, of course, those we're looking at, we don't have a clear view of what's gonna be eligible for those grants yet, but we think we do, right, sorta? At any rate, I mean, just things being thrown out as the courthouse. We're gonna go out to HRC and see what they're up to. The jail, and then the airport. We've needed a big, door on the 3-section door on the main hangar. I mean, there's all kinds of things that we can test the waters on and set the priorities and see what we can do. Everything's pretty open at this point. And of course, the last grant is the grant through Coles County, which we already have to study and do the things we're doing now, and then additionally, putting us in a position where we can apply for vertical construction money for something, or the renovation or remodeling of something through Department of Agriculture.
Yeah, USDA Community Facilities, Public Safety.
Right. So those are kind of the balls that are in the air right now, and I just wanted to review it, because it changes rather rapidly sometimes, so. Okay. Additionally, at the 24th study session, we'll know for sure, but we'll have the, May 24th, we'll have the architect, engineers here, and they will be giving you their report on phase 1 and 2 of their contract, which is, does the jail meet criteria to continue with it or not? And the second one would be what kind of numbers we need to plan for the future, not just a couple of years, but where we need to be on a long-term basis. I said that okay?
Sounds perfect to me.
Additionally, at that meeting, they're gonna go ahead in concert with Coles County and give you a run-through, professional run-through of a meeting that's gonna take place, we believe, on the 21st of June. That is a Monday, I believe, right?
Yes.
And that will be at,
Crestwood Gym, I believe.
and this will involve the groups or the committees that Coles County has put together to look at different facets of the project. A lot of work has been done over the last several weeks. Would you say that's fair or longer than that?
Oh, it's been longer than that, but the last several weeks been really good.
Yeah, where a lot of people have been interviewed, taking surveys, you know, everything from judges to educators, and everybody in between. They're looking at everything to pick everybody's brains about the ideas. Nothing has been, we're still preliminary, we're still at phase 0, we're still looking at everything. In fact, I don't know all the recommendations. I've just kind of sat back, and you guys will get a preview of what's going on that day along with me for the first time. Okay?
That a meeting for the public, is this the reason why it's the Crestwood?
Well, I don't know how it's set up. It's not my meeting, so.
Yeah. My understanding, Dan, I don't want to talk too much, but
No.
the board's to stand back during this process. So, yeah, I think, I would certainly go if I were you guys,
You're gonna be invited, but
Yeah.
we're not invited to participate.
per se.
No,
Per se, yeah.
What, Carl?
Nothing. Nothing.
So it is a meeting for the public.
I don't know if it's gonna be open to the public yet or not for sure. I know for sure that there's gonna be a strategic planning committee on the floor with the presenters, and I haven't spoken with the chairman enough yet to know for sure if there's gonna be an opening to the public to come to. I'm gonna wait to hear more.
Well, it also is actually Coles County's meeting,
It
right?
is.
So it's up to them how they handle it, okay?
And it is a strategic planning steering committee meeting. So that we're formal here, there is a strategic planning committee formal meeting with the architect in Coles County on the 21st at Crestwood Gym. I think one of the reasons they picked the Crestwood Gym is I think there's a chance there'll be breakout sessions. I think there's a chance for that, and I also think there's a chance that it'll be an open invite to the public, but I can't speak for them, and I'm not going to. So Gary, please don't print that, because we don't know yet. But this has gone on a lot, and the goal is to have the public come to the board. The goal here is a bunch of noise is going on over here, and then the public's gonna come to the board and say, hey, we think you guys might need a new jail. We think you guys, I think maybe the county has a drug problem. And the board said, oh, yeah, I guess maybe you're right.
A lot of questions around town, people want to know why we're not doing something with the tax we passed to get a jail.
I think it
That's all
is.
we hear.
We are.
But they don't know that, that's the
Well,
reason
you
why.
can't just go out
I
and
know, I
spend
understand
money. I mean, you've gotta have a
I
real
understand
defined
that.
purpose
Yeah.
for what you're gonna spend it for.
That's right, I never heard that.
It's hard to explain to the public.
Yeah, I haven't heard that either. I'm getting stopped a lot and asking questions, but nothing, of course, I just say, I don't know where it's being
Well,
studied.
We get it, don't we, Lou?
Well, we've got a couple of engineers and architects already working on it.
We tell them
And
that.
the guys at your
I've never heard
table
that.
know that.
Yeah, spinning it fast enough.
So, for example, Bob knows that.
I know Bob knows that.
It's like
Bob
building a
knows
road.
everything.
You don't say we need a road and then the next day you go out and start
Well,
working on it.
explain it to 'em.
It takes 2 or 3 years.
Don't explain it to them, just say you don't know.
It takes.
No question.
We're in the
But
process.
the main thing is if, let's just assume, I won't say too much, let's just assume
Different one.
that there's a $10 or $15 million expenditure
That's
coming.
up
Well,
front.
And can you let him talk, please?
I'm just saying, yeah.
I-
no,
I-
yeah.
there's likely going to be a pretty significant outlay coming. I'd say I'm 99% sure that there's gonna be a significant outlay coming. And that you guys can save it for 10 years and you probably still won't have enough,
Right.
right? So, I mean, is that okay to say it that way?
Yeah, we don't know what it's gonna be though.
Right,
And
significant.
We know that we have money to make bonds if we, or loans, payments, or
Right.
whatever,
Right.
and that's when it will start to be used. So, at any rate. Dan,
What?
anything else? All right. Any other questions on that regard? Okay, well, thank you.
Dan, I apologize if I make mad, I didn't mean to make mad.
No, he's mad at me. Sorry.
I'm mad.
I'm always mad at you.
Every question's a good question.
Yeah, it's- but people just gotta be patient.
I understand that. It's kinda hard to explain it.
I'm
Wow,
glad
just-
patience.
Yeah, it's
Tell
not
them-
hard.
tell
I
them we're
tell
working-
people.
I tell them we're working on it,
Right.
We're working on it.
Yep.
but that doesn't satisfy them, so.
Well, I'm not sure everything.
Well, I
We'll do the best we can. How's that?
I'll
I
talk to
understand
him.
that.
Huh?
I'll talk to him.
I try not to.
Go ask somebody else.
We'll take his blood pressure
Drink too
seriously.
much coffee.
Hey, my blood pressure's low.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Careful.
You need help.
Andy, you got stuff?
A couple things. Got a hold of Travis Stafford with Sycamore. We do have the ability to add units to the basement. There's a couple ports left on that manifold in the basement, so he's given it to, turned it over to Rocky. And hopefully, he said they're gonna price some units to us, what it would cost to put those in
That will keep the basement warm
It'll keep
without
the basement-
firing up the boiler.
without firing up the boiler.
Okay.
So
Just wondered.
he'll get with me on that. I did get with Chuck Hernandez about the electrical issues at the courthouse. Some of the, Marty says in the voting, where he keeps his voting materials, he goes in, the light's always on, so. And I want you guys, Augie and everybody, that kind of, if you see a problem with some of that, like I know you said that across the hall, you go by at night sometimes, the light's on. I want to make sure that, from what I can understand, Chuck's saying he's gonna have the electric company, the people that put all that in, make an appointment to come down and work on stuff, so I really want to have anybody that's got any issues, have it written down, ready for them when they come down. So that, I know they're probably not gonna come 3 or 4 times, they'll probably come 1 or 2 times and fix everything, so I just wanna make sure that we don't miss anything. So that's in the works now too. I told Chuck to get a hold of Ray's aware, and Ray had sent me a couple of texts, and I forwarded those to Chuck, and I just said, you know, Ray is probably more aware of some of the problems than even, than I'm aware of. So, anyway, hopefully we get that taken care of. I think that's all I got.
Dog or cat?
Cat's got me up 6 this morning. You want a cat?
I got 5, thank you.
We had a animal meeting last week. One thing on the, this year, there's been no dogs or animals put down, which is really great. And they have ways of getting rid of them. I think I told you about the couple from Tinley Park that come down on weekends, take animals back with them, so it's doing real well. She wants to put some tops on some outdoor cages, so I told her to go ahead and check on that.
She's
Maybe
got a
call Ray.
donation fund too that she can
Pardon?
use. She has that donation fund.
Right, it's like $6,000 or $8,000, so something like that. So I told her to go ahead and check and get it down if she wants it done. So I think Linda's still in the cast. I think she's still in the cast.
Oh, in a cat. But the
Cast,
cats.
cast.
Yeah, that's been an ongoing thing.
Yeah, and I
Ridiculous.
keep finding broken bones. It's ridiculous. That's out here.
Yeah.
There's $12,000 in the shelter donation funds.
I told her to go ahead and get it done if she wants it done, so.
And we need to make sure it comes out of that fund.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
Other than that, no problem. Anybody want a cat, I got one to get rid of.
Russ, you got anything? I do not. Carl?
Nope.
Phil?
No.
Lisa, what about, do we want to present the board or talk about the wind farm ordinance and updating it the first meeting in May, and then put it on the agenda for some kind of passage at the first meeting?
You can.
I know we can, I'm just asking your opinion. I mean, it seems like, I think at that meeting, we've had some requests for, one of the wind farms wants to be here to present a cost-benefit deal, information on it, so.
So they would do that at the regular board meeting?
No, they would do that at the study session.
Study session.
Well, tentatively, I mean, what do you guys think, the rest of you?
Well, it definitely needs to be done in the study session. Don't want to wait till we get ready to pass it and then
And then we've got all
information.
this stuff.
You know, if you have questions, you want to think about it.
And we'd make sure that everybody was aware that we were gonna be discussing it.
Right.
So, maybe you could jot that down, Augie, so the week before, we can make sure that folks are aware of what's going on. And, you know, we can put it on, maybe we don't pass it, I mean, but at any rate, we need to make an attempt to see where we're at on the deal, okay?
Is the study session on the 3rd or the 10th?
10th.
10th?
So, well, I think so, I should,
Yes, it is.
it is, okay. Did you have anything else? We're gonna meet out at HRC about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So we've got 40 minutes to figure out. Go ahead, Dan, whatever. You guys talk about cat stories or?
Yeah, a lot of cat stories.
Any tricks?
Yep, 6 o'clock in the morning, trying to, the little one likes to nip you. He thinks it's a friendly nip, but looks like crap. Adam back there, he may have something to add to the meeting, I doubt it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Adam. Please, yeah, let me, go ahead, or you, yeah, go ahead, Adam.
I don't have anything unless you guys have questions, concerns for me.
They turned that damn siren down and come by my house at 6 in the morning.
I'll tell you what, Dan, I looked into it and it's.
What about midnight? It did midnight change it?
I thought they said they were turning it up.
I've been seeing an ambulance around, and it looks like an older ambulance with no markings whatsoever. What is that?
So that one, we've got an appointment with a shop in Terre Haute to get that one lettered. We're kind of on their schedule right now.
Okay,
Medical one had a tire blowout come back from assistance call in Brockton. And it, when I say blowout, it completely shredded the tire Well, they tried to limp it back to town, which made the tire worse. The belt got into the inner fender, tore the inner fender out. I actually took it to Russ, and they did an awesome job repairing that. But in the midst of tearing the inner fender out, it tore a wiring harness out that ran on top of the inner fender. So now I am waiting to get the wiring harness fixed. It is still operational as a spare. The wiring harness runs the rear tail light, and the marker lights are along the box. So it's just a safety issue. It is functional as an ambulance, but right now, like at night, there is no lights on the back, and I don't feel
Right.
good about putting that on the road unless we absolutely have to.
So this one that I'm seeing, is it?
It is Medic 4. It's our spare.
Okay.
It's our backup.
It's your backup.
And we've had it scheduled for a while to get the
I see.
vinyl done, but we're just kind of on the shop's time frame right now when they can get it in.
Everything's behind the COVID.
Didn't run the siren, did it?
I saw that come through the other day and I thought, who is that?
We are in the process of, I've got 4 quotes in for a new ambulance, so we'll be looking at replacement.
Did you have
Basically,
them-
everything till move down the line, so we'll be getting, if I put in the order now, they're over a year build, so it'll be this time next year before I get it.
did you have to go to the big car out on Route 49?
Yep.
Large car or whatever it was.
So the past couple weeks have been extremely busy.
Okay, anything else? All right,
Oh,
please, go ahead.
have we heard anything more on the ambulance
That's what I
up
was,
at Christmas?
yeah, it's just in their ballpark.
They
They
haven't-
meet
the
on
state's attorney-
Thursday. Yeah, they meet on Thursday, I think, to open, oh, is it tomorrow?
Their regular meeting is tomorrow.
Okay, then I was thinking it was Thursday. They're gonna open bids then?
They haven't even when I last talked to Jeremy, they are still waiting for their attorney to design the bid package. So what they're gonna do tomorrow is hopefully they'll have the bid package, they can approve it, and then advertise it.
Gary's gonna give the report.
Sorry, guys.
What
Yeah,
is the bid package?
Negus has to get rid of its properties, which consist of the 2 ambulances, the, what do you call the truck that you drive?
Different names, command truck, chase truck.
Command
whatever
truck,
you call it.
chase truck, whatever, they got that, and they have a building. And they've been kind of waiting to get all their appraisals together. One of their last meetings, the decision was, once they get all that sold and the money in, then they'll distribute it back to the townships and the communities based on the percentage those communities have paid into. What they'll have to decide to do is if they want to sell everything as a complete package or parcel it out. If they sell it as a complete package, that gives Jeremy then the opportunity to bid on everything at one time. Or anybody else that wants to bid on everything. So they have a little discussion to do, but they've been waiting on the attorney to get the bid package ready.
Okay, that's the answer, which is a better report than I would have given. All right, let's see. Don hands this out every time. You'll notice that the squad cars, our police vehicles, is a negative 36,820. We're not sure how that happened, but
Thanks, Adam.
thanks, Adam. I met with Derek last Thursday or Friday, and he and the sheriff are gonna get with me today to figure out how to move funds around to get rid of that negative. Whether it's part of the current budget or whether it's other funds that he has to do that, okay? The other thing that is happening is, and we'll get this out to you as soon as we can, I'm talking about it, we've got a rough draft of the audit, but it's not complete yet. The sheriff, or a couple of folks still have to provide input to it, the health department, and one other person has to write a letter saying everything's fine, and then we'll be good, and then we can have that. But there's no reason that you can't take a look at the preliminary. We catch up, I think we're still, for the 10-year or 12-year period we've been on the board, I think we're still, I think a negative 25 grand. So that's where we're at on that situation. So we're just about caught up, and that happened at the very last minute. They moved one major expense from this coming year to last year, so that kept us from getting right there. So at any rate, it doesn't matter. At the end of this year, it'll all be the same. So as long as it's there, it's there. So those are things going on. We did get the command staff at the jail to come in and do an update report on the insurance company's inspection in January, and everything's satisfied with the insurance company and everything's going forward on that. We've got to decide on some insurance issues. Your committee needs to decide if we need to come up with any bids this year, and I don't know where we're at with all of them, but I think we just bid out the umbrella and the regular policy, but as far as health, we may want to look at that, we may not, I don't know.
I need to look back and see when the last time. I need to look at that.
I know it's early, but if we don't start looking now, it'll be,
We tend to,
yeah, 'cause
they
we-
wait a long time.
Well, and remember, the policy goes into effect every year on October 1st. And then, of course, you need the previous month, which would be September, to get everybody signed up if you're gonna change anything. And then prior to that, you've gotta have, if you're gonna bid or whatever, we've gotta make decisions, so.
So is that bid annually?
No. It has
It's not every 3 years.
every 3,
So how many
sometimes
years?
more often.
Depends on what
depends
they
on what-
said they
Depends
would
on what,
raise it.
if there's a big jump or.
Right. And of course, they can't give us a lot of information in any of the insurance companies until fairly close, because it's based on issues that they need to know about us. So it's kind of a rock and the hard place there. We're up against it there.
Kind of
pretty
juggle
quick.
balls until you finally just.
Right, and Augie's folks have to be able to send out stuff, and then they got collection problems. You know, it's just things we need to make sure we don't cause the problem. Augie?
I don't have anything other than, don't run out, we got signatures from the meeting we just had.
Okay, budget-wise, we're doing right what we thought we would do. Pretty much. The tax collection and so forth is, you know, Dina's doing her thing. You know, we got a multiplier of 1, which was a good deal, and they're getting ready. I imagine Augie, you'll be getting the drainage districts and all that stuff.
Yeah, we're entering levies now as
Okay.
we speak.
So everything's going forward there. We're still looking at a sometime in July collection. Are there questions that you guys have got?
They get the parking lot asphalt, look like they do.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it looks really nice.
Yeah, so,
Has everybody seen it? I was out there. They ran over my foot with,
that's too bad.
but no, it does look nice. It's,
Yeah,
kind of dresses up that area. And one of the biggest things I know, besides the cosmetic look, is the liability issue
Mhm.
is something that really will help with. And we'll report that to the insurance company so they can put that in their file as something we're being proactive on. No matter what happens with the jail, nothing's gonna happen there for several years. That's a lot of exposure. So if somebody says, well, we shouldn't have done that if we're gonna do something else. No, because,
Right.
you know, I don't remember how much that costs, whether it's 50 grand or whatever. You know, that doesn't even pay for attorneys if you're sued. So
Right.
They'll still use a white van. I never see it leave the jail.
I think they do occasionally,
Mhm.
especially when they
For
still
ladies.
try to minimize women prisoners at that facility. But the population has dropped quite quite a bit. Have you heard anything of population lately? I forgot to ask Derek, but I know that the state has picked up quite a few folks that they were supposed to take to begin with. Additionally, and our attorneys are looking into it, along with UCCI, is that the state technically in the law says that they owe us for keeping prisoners. Now, whether we'll ever get it, I don't know, but if we do, we probably, it would be worthwhile to bill the state and make sure that at least we've got a bill in, because it's kind of like buying a lottery ticket. You don't buy one, you're not gonna win, and if we don't bill them, they ain't gonna pay us.
Seems to me like last we talked to the sheriff, he's had like 7 or 8 that have been sentenced, but they've been holding them for
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah. So that's.
So
an
yeah,
issue.
that's something we ought to look into as far as sending them a bill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The insurance bellwether has been helping us on issues, but they're also prepared. We should be getting a draft copy of new personnel policy. Bruce said that he started to redo ours or modify it, and he just decided that he'd be better off to just scrap it and start over again. So that's what he's doing. They're also including policy on retention, record retention, and also cameras, so that we know what's what, and we don't have a policy here and a policy there and a policy there. They're all together. And obviously, it's gonna take some time for him to review it with you, and you have a chance to take a look at it, so we can make suggestions and get explanations on that. But I think that's something we've needed for years, and we're close to it, okay? I guess that's all I got. Stop talking.
They still plan on fixing meals there today.
I don't think so, not at this time, not at this point.
Okay. That's one.
So, at any rate, so I never did, is everybody okay with the 24th of May with them coming in and giving us briefings? And you should be, I mean, even, I don't think you've got anything going on. Hopefully you're done in the field by then. I know you still have cattle to take care of, but that's.
I may be incapacitated too.
You may be incapacitated.
Oh, okay,
I don't know yet, I'll find out Friday.
okay. Yeah, we haven't talked yet, we will.
I need to talk to him.
Yeah. Okay. At any rate,
So May study sessions are gonna be big.
well, and into June too. Because if Bruce comes in with the bellwether, I mean, that's not gonna be a short thing. I mean, I think that's gonna be laid over. We'll want comments. He wants to present it to the elected officials and department heads, so they can have input to it too, into the new personnel policy. And the state's attorney wants to have his say about it. So, I mean, that's gonna be probably a couple of month process, but we need to get it started, and we need to get it to us so that we can do our thing with everybody. Right?
Anything on Shaughnessy's lawsuit? Haven't heard anything?
No, there isn't anything.
Still in courts?
Yep. And the other one with the gravel and all that, that's, I think, pretty near done, if not. I think their next course of action was, they'd already been to the appellate, I think it was the Supreme Court, if they wanted to take it to the Supreme Court, so that's where that is. So we're trying to keep our skirts clean,
What about the-
in that sense as
What
well.
about the inmate that said he had to sleep on the floor for 21 days?
Okay, we're getting a little deep. I didn't say anything, that we gotta be a little careful.
Oh, okay.
We're on TV, big guy.
Okay.
So, we're just trying to treat everybody right, and we're doing the things we need to
I'm
do to
just
take
trying
care
to
of.
buy time till 10:30.
So going back to the May 10th study session with the wind, is this the original Wind Group, the western side, and their representative that we already
That's all
had?
that's contacted us. They simply said they would like an opportunity for input to the board. And rather
The
than
ones
just
that are over by Kansas.
Garland, the
Yeah,
Garland,
right.
right. And, you know, and that's fair. I mean,
And then has anybody been contacted about solar farms yet?
hang on. No, I was trying to think. The board, it's been a long, long time since I've been contacted.
Okay.
So we don't know of anything, but we did talk about, as soon as we resolve this,
Right.
is to, you, John and I started meeting on that.
Yeah.
And we did actually get some ordinances from other places. Of course, a lot of them are where they have zoning already, which puts us in a kind of a different place, but at least you can pick out what the interests are that we need to protect the people from.
Yeah.
Whether it be the deactivation, or whether the land use questions, and, you know, I don't know what else there is.
I don't either.
I haven't read a lot of it yet.
I do know a neighbor to the south has already signed the contract.
Really? In Edgar County?
The solar farm?
That's what I hear, because then he was kicking himself because then he couldn't sign wind.
I got a call Friday or Thursday, and I took it to Dina. They were going to put in something, and I can't remember, hang on. So many things going on. It wasn't a hog farm, it wasn't a solar farm, or something else. Oh, a fertilizer facility in Edgar Township.
What's this now?
A guy wants to put in a, what did I just say?
Fertilizer.
Fertilizer
The
facility.
dealership, nothing different or unusual.
Well, I think they were gonna put a facility in.
So what,
I mean, like, not manufacturing, just like a retail facility?
Don't know.
Don't know.
Don't know.
I was contacted, what, they said, what regulations do we have to? I
We
said,
sent them to the township, because the township's got,
is-
yeah.
That's Edgar's where they're
Yeah.
considering?
So
Okay.
we sent them to the Edgar County, or Edgar Township supervisor.
But there's no zoning or anything that they have to go, I mean,
No,
they
I
want
told
to put
them
it in there,
they had to adhere to, you know, Department of Ag
Right,
and EPA, is all I knew,
right.
and talk to the township.
Is this the one at Horace,
This,
Effingham?
no, it is not Equity,
No.
Effingham Equity, no, this is a brand new one.
Okay. Well, I know up there, they're planning on eventually, you know, they've got added anhydrous up there at Effingham, and they're gonna eventually get a dry fertilizer business facility up there. So this is something different.
This is something totally new.
Okay.
He is putting one in Vermillion County now, that I understand, but I don't know where it is. But Steiner's wife, Karen, she's a supervisor up there, and so we suggested that she talk to her at that point. And then I talked to her briefly and said, if you need anything from us, let us know. That's where we sit on that. Don's finishing up the budget, the supplemental budget for the, hang on, the COVID American Rescue Plan budget, so that we have something in place to receive the money. We've talked to the accountants about how to set up the fund. It's gonna become an 800 fund, 857, and it'll be totally accounted for separately. Okay? That's about it. By the time we get there, I think it'll be about right. So, anything else to come, do we need a closed session on anything? Okay. Augie, do you thought anything else that we need to
No, I
cover?
don't think so.
Okay, to entertain a motion to adjourn. Andy moves. Russ seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. We adjourn. And don't forget, we gotta sign stuff.